Go to therapy or not? That's what we're going to talk about. Today, I wanted to talk to you about the reasons why you're not in therapy. A lot of people talk about the reasons why you should be in therapy, and I'm going to talk about the reasons why maybe it's not the time for you to be in therapy. The first reason why maybe you're not ready to go to therapy is because when you go to therapy, you're going to talk about yourself. So if you are not into that in this moment and you prefer to talk about other people, then you shouldn't go to therapy, because therapy would be a place where you're going to sit down and your therapist is going to focus on you. The other reason why maybe it's not time for you to go to therapy is that maybe your trauma is way too fresh in you. I did a study some time ago and I realized that it takes about 6 months for a person to get a phone number of a therapist and then call that therapist. And then it takes probably 2 to 3 times until the therapist and the client play the phone tag until they schedule an appointment. So sometimes the person is not ready to just tackle that really heavy trauma that they have been struggling with. So maybe that should be a reason why you should hold on and not to go to therapy when you are so raw into your trauma. Another reason why you shouldn't be in therapy if you are just not so ready for it is that if you have your mindset where you believe therapy doesn't work, it's a waste of time for you. Don't go to therapy if you think therapy is a waste of time. That you're going because your mother wants you to go, or because your father thinks it's a good idea, or because your friend goes to therapy and you should be in therapy too. Don't go to therapy if that is the reason why you're going to a therapist. Because when you go to therapy, again, you got to give all that you have inside of you. And maybe you don't want to do that. So it takes time for a person to commit to therapy. It takes time for a person to be ready to talk about themselves. So the fourth reason why people shouldn't be in therapy is that if you go to therapy to please other people and report your session to other people, also you're not ready to come to therapy. Because therapy should be for you. Therapy should be all about you. You shouldn't worry about other people, what they're going to say, how they're going to perceive your life, not even your therapist. So if you come to therapy and you're thinking about those things, maybe it's not time for you to be in therapy. I know a lot of people think it's surprising that a therapist is saying that maybe you shouldn't be in therapy. But I'm very real, and I believe that therapy, like any other things in life, they have the right time for you to be involved with. There's the right time for you to drive. There's the right time for you to get married. There's the right time for you to, go to a specific trip. And also there's the right time for you to look at yourself and work in yourself and go to therapy. And maybe this is not the right time for you. It's okay. Be patient with yourself. Be grateful that you have that choice. Also, it doesn't work when you go to therapy when you're obligated to do that. It doesn't work because when you sit down with the therapist, you're going to be talking about yourself. The therapist is going to push, let's tackle this problem. Let's talk about this issue. Let's talk about that trauma. And if you don't want to do that, then it's very difficult. I've had clients in my office many times that sit down and they start talking, and I'm like, are you sure you want to be here? Are you sure you want to be in therapy right now? It's okay if you don't want to. We have to have that choice. We have to have that desire. If we don't, then we shouldn't be there. A very special client of mine told me something this past week that I wrote it down and I wanted to do a video about it, and then it was just difficult just to do a video only about that. But she told me something that I thought it was very important. She said, for us to stop talking about what ifs and talk more about even ifs. So concentrate on that. If you concentrate your life thinking about the what ifs. What if I go to therapy and I don't like the therapist? What if I go to therapy and my husband is not happy? What if I go to therapy and I get worse than what I am? If your mindset is like that, change it to even if. Even if I go and my husband doesn't approve, I'm getting something out of it. Even if my friend disapproves of me coming to therapy, I am going to do my best and I'm going to work on my issues. So switch that mindset. It's kind of very powerful to change the what ifs to the even ifs. So hopefully you're going to learn and you're going to maybe visit your own heart and think, maybe it's time for me to go to therapy. Even if I am scared, it could be worth it. Think about that. And I'll see you next time.